critical, So we just want to open the discussion
and have an open, candid discussion.
Yes,
and understand what it is. But what kind of a man would drive away his wife? Because if you did the traditional marriage, I mean, there are some things that you're supposed to do. If it is an orthodox marriage that you also, contracted or had with the woman, it's just for better, for worse. Why are they shelving the worst bit and dumping or throwing the woman out of the home? What is making men do this?
Sometimes I think it's part of the ignorance, because they also do not understand, and they tend to ask questions. Why you? One man has just divorced the wife because he lost his mother to breast cancer.
Okay.
And so when the wife was diagnosed
of breast cancer,
yes, he just plainly told her he lost his mother to the disease. He cannot cope with you also having it. And this is somebody who has finished treatment. She's a survivor. So why do you drive her away?
For him, I understand his situation because, experience. He lost a mother, to breast cancer. But I think that doctors should also help with counseling and let him understand that once a person has survived it, the person needs support from you, and the person will do much better than you driving the person out, because thinking alone can kill her, create more problems for her. But let's go back to the issue of people who would rather go to the the prayer camps than to the church. Do we have any statistics? Are more women going to prayer camps than hospitals, or they're going to hospitals more than the prayer camps? What does the figure look like?
We haven't really come out with the exact statistics, but we know that even though a lot of women are knowledgeable, they've heard about the disease, yet there's that preference to go for the prayers. We understand we are very religious people, but we should draw the line when you should go to the hospital and plead with the heads of the churches that they should rather drive the women away and pray for them. Some pastors are doing that, and we appreciate their efforts. They sometimes even come with the woman to the hospital, and so I think the way the women believe the pastors have it as a responsibility to just advise them and direct them to the right place. Yes.
But in all your practice, several years in practice, have you ever come across a woman who has breast cancer who has been healed through prayer at any prayer camp?
No.
Throughout your entire practice?
Never.
So women, have you heard? She says to me, and I can attest to the fact that she's been doing this for almost 30 years?
30 years.
30 years, yes. And throughout your 30 years of practice and treating women with breast cancer, not even a single pastor?
No. Some go to the extent of traveling abroad to go and do prayers, and they tell them you are healed. They come back and they refuse medication and run into metastasis. And so nobody is even following them. When the pastor told you are healed, did you go to check? Is it true that the disease is gone? And a lot of the women do not even go for the diagnosis. So they just leave the hospital and go for these prayers. And some of them stay there for years. They'll be there and they'll be praying, they will be bathing. One was telling me at midnight they are sent to go and bath. And the disease kept on growing.
Listen, if you listen to a pastor, you will die. I'm not going to mess words on this one. You will die. Now, if you have children, you will die and leave your children. And like I said a while ago, even when you are alive, most husbands are cheating. So once you are dead and you're gone, well, field day for him anyway. So use your head. If you are diagnosed of breast cancer, listen, prayer is good. I believe in God. I pray. But you need to go to the right source, right places for the right treatment. This is Love 99.5, and we have with us Dr. Mrs. Beatrice. We have here there. She's with the Peace and Love Hospital, and we're having a conversation. Now we shall be telling you much more about that cancer forum that comes off on Friday at the Kumasi Technical University. But again, unfortunately, when you know what causes a condition, you know how to manage yourself or prevent yourself from getting it. So, for example, I know that I would not want to be diagnosis of malaria, so make sure that I don't have any bite from the female Anopheles mosquito. When it comes to, let's say, cancer, or to be specific, breast cancer, you said a while ago we don't know what the causes are. How do we prevent breast cancer then?
Okay, so sorry, we have to understand that when we are talking about disease that we still don't know the cause, it means we cannot do primary prevention, but we can do secondary prevention. And for breast cancer, it is early detection and prompt action. It's not enough to find a lump in your breast and sit at home. You should rather move and go to the hospital. We don't know the cause, but we know of risk factors. And some of these are being a woman, having a positive family history. We heard from Auntie Vivian, she has a positive family history, but that's about 10% of all the patients. So 90% of the patients come with their own disease. Again, having had a lump in your breast before puts you in the risk group. Women who have never delivered are also in the risk group.
If they have never delivered?
Yes. Women who are elderly primates, that's when they had their first child above 33 years. They are in the risk group as well. Women with long menstrual cycle.
What do you mean by long menstrual cycle?
So if a woman starts menarche from, let's say, 12 years, menopause is between 40 and 50 years. But sometimes some women can still be menstruating when they're about 55 years, 56 years. Research has shown that such women also come into the risk group. In Africans, breast cancer strikes early, so we should bear that in mind. It's not very true to say that the older the woman gets, the higher her chances of getting it. We also, these are risk factors we cannot change, like being a woman, having a positive family history. But there are some factors that can be changed, like the lifestyle factors. Excessive alcohol consumption is not good for us. The bitters are plenty.
Is it good for the men or the women? Or
it's not good. In fact, it's not good for all the non-communicable diseases, and for cancers, they are not good. Cigarette smoking, and these days we have shisha in our country. Some countries have banned the use of shisha, and so women should understand that shisha is also cigarette. It's not good. Excessive fatty intake is also not good for us. We did the Ghana breast health study when we studied breast cancer in Ghana, and two things came up as our risk factors. The first one is the skin lightening cream. It's not good as far as breast
when you say skin lightening, they might not understand the
bleaching.
Yes, let's say bleaching.
Bleaching.
When you bleach.
Yes, it's not good for breast cancer. The second one is the use of certain chemicals to what do we call it?
Relaxes.
To the hair relaxers. Some of them are bad, and in some cases you cannot even read the inscription on the bottle, and I don't think the FDA even finds those ones to certify them. So women should be careful what they apply to themselves.
Now, there are a few myths that people have heard, and with the permission, I'd like to touch on a few, and let's see whether indeed they can cause breast cancer. So one of them is that automatically once you have any lump in your breast, you're going to have breast cancer. True or false?
False.
Okay, so now we're going to do a true or false segment of the conversation. It's not automatic that once you have a lump in your breast, you're going to have breast cancer. That is false.
Yes.
But once you have any lump in your breast, you should be worried about it.
Yes, you should go for it to be checked.
Some people also say that depending on the kind of bra, the brazier you wear, sometimes home use brazier or whatever brazier, too tight and all that, can also lead to breast cancer. True or false?
False with explanation.
False with some truth.
Yes. Not truth as such, but some explanation so to demystify it.
So ladies, listen, you wear bras, braziers, don't you? So let's listen.
Unfortunately, these days we find a lot of braziers coming with metals. Some have even round metals, so the woman will have to push the breast through it. You want to dress in a way, so you want some kind of brazier, and some women use very tight braziers. for some purposes. You know, we used to push a lot recently, but fortunately it's gone down because the men actually said they don't like it, so the women stopped it, and that was causing a lot of problems because the metals were just piercing through the skin and blocking the blood flow to the breast.
Okay, so the verdict on this one is yes with explanation, that's the breast, yes, but with the lamp it's false. Let's talk about putting mobile phones around, your breast. So that you wear a brazier, you have a mobile phone in there. Sometimes you hear people talk about putting money in there. Any risks in that? It leads to cancer, true or false?
Again, with explanation. The metals that women use and money, they hide the money in their braziers. It's because they don't want the pickpockets to steal the money. But money is chemical, and most of it is dirty. So, and around the breast, we sweat a lot. We have pores in our skin. So these chemicals can penetrate through the pores. I'm not saying that will cause breast cancer, but it can cause some changes in the breast tissue. Again, the use of mobile phones. The phones normally vibrate. Sometimes it can even fall from a table when it's vibrating, and so if it will keep vibrating on a particular spot all the time, it can also cause some unpleasant changes in the breast tissue. Again, if you put it on your left side, that's where you have your heart, and so if it will be there vibrating, it can also affect the rhythm of your heart, and that applies to men as well. Those who put the phones on the left side pocket is not advisable.
Okay, so young girls don't get breast cancer. Young people don't get breast cancer.
I mentioned earlier that in African women, our disease strikes earlier than the Caucasians. It's about 10-15 years difference. In Ghana, our youngest patient is a 13-year-old girl. She's a survivor now. And and we have a lot of 20 years, 24, 28. So we don't want to say that it's the old woman's disease. Young ladies can also get it. So we should be wary of changes in the breast, no matter how old you are,
how young you are. What about trauma to the breast? So somebody says, well, an accident, somebody hit me, maybe my husband got out of anger, hit me, sometimes out of pleasure, bit the nipple, it became a sore, it's not going. I mean, you know it more than I do, so help me with that one as well.
There has been a lot of research on that, and some researchers came out to say that trauma can cause some changes to the tissue, but it's difficult to say that one trauma can cause breast cancer. Sometimes it's coincidental. The woman has a problem and the man or somebody, a friend, can hit the breast, and that's when you find the lump and she will say it's as a result of the trauma.
So it's not wholly true.
It's not wholly true.
How about men? Before we thought that breast cancer was only a condition, for women, but now we hear that men also can and are having or getting breast cancer. Do we have statistics to that very one?
The statistics has always been 1%.
Okay.
But in some settings, they've gone up to 3%. In fact, Nigeria, some research came out that they are between 3 to 5%.
Okay.
So what we are saying is men can also develop breast cancer because they have the nipple, they have the ducts, and about 75% of all breast cancers originate from the ducts. They are intraductal carcinomas. So once the ducts are there, they can also be diseased, and that's why we want the men to also, check. If you have a lump in the breast, don't just gloss over it.
Which part of the breast will the lump come or appear for that of men?
Any parts. The breast we can normally divide into 4 parts, 4 quadrants.
Because men often have chests with a nipple. So when you say breast of a man, are you talking about just the nipple, or you're talking about the whole area where the chest itself is?
No, it's not chest. The men have nipple and some rudimentary breast. So in some cases, a man can develop breast like a woman, and we have some men who have appeared with such breasts.
So those are the ones that are at risk, not ones like me.
No. It doesn't matter. A man can be fine. The chest will be that of a man, but he can develop a lump in the breast, or some bloody discharge, or whatever discomfort, which needs to be sent to the hospital.
So as much as you advise women to check their breasts frequently, monthly.
Yes.
Every woman should check her breast monthly. Okay. What about men?
For men,
once a year.
You don't have a problem so much because you don't have a lot of tissue. So even when after you've bathed or when you are bathing, you can pass your hand through and see if there's a lump somewhere. But as for women, we advise women to check themselves every month.
Why?
If you are still menstruating, you do it after your menses. And if you've stopped, if you are postmenopausal, you choose a day in the month to do your breast self-examination.
Why monthly? Why not like every 6 months or every quarter?
Lumps take some time before your hands can pick them. We are still diagnosing palpable lesions, so we cannot talk about screening mammography that is done elsewhere where you don't necessarily have to be touching yourself, but we still have to be checking to see if there's a change. You have to know how your breasts look like, how they feel like, so that when there's a change in maybe the size, the nipple is flattening or getting inverted, you should know and go to the hospital. You're also going to check whether some lump has appeared in the breast tissue or in your armpit. And if you find any abnormality, you shouldn't just say it's not painful, so it's nothing. People like saying that I saw it but it wasn't paining me. Breast cancer is not painful, especially from the beginning. You wouldn't have any pain.
All right. Well, we shall be talking about treatment modalities in a bit, but like I said, we have some friends with us in the studios of Love 99.5, and they'll be sharing their thoughts and on this very matter. But before they do, well, for the past decade, New Generation Investment Services Limited, a leading investment banking firm, has guided thousands of institutional and retail investors to make millions and secure portfolio investments. That's all we want to do. We want to make millions at every given opportunity. Now, they offer and manage investments such as the Enidaso Mutual Fund, NGIS Money Market Fund, and the private funds. They also assist with pension planning and manage Tier 2 and Tier 3 pensions. Now, they are the managers of the Enidaso Mutual Fund, that is, you sow today to reap tomorrow, and also the NGISM Fund, which of course is Invest for Wealth Creation. Now, whatever your investment goals and aspirations are, talk to their seasoned investment advisors, and they will structure an investment portfolio for you. New Generation Investment Services is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. Call them today on 03220-91608. That is 03220-91608. In Sunyani, reach them on 0352-197-482. And you already know that we're live in Sunyani on Parrot 99.7. Visit them today at the first floor, Kokobo Jubilee House, right here in Kumasi, Nidu. And also on the first floor, Abosmakoche House, near Cocoa House in Sunyani. Or visit www.ngis-group.com. New Generation Investment Services Limited, achieving excellent returns on your investment. Now, have you decided to put up a house or you want to put up a church? Well, Donima, your number one partner in building your dream home or any other building project, has available DSL Aluzing Trusses Systems. Now, these days we don't use woods for the woodwork frame anymore. We use Aluzing Trusses Systems. Now, let me tell you more about them. Now, Donima's light steel trusses systems are very suitable for all roofing frameworks. It's also very quick to install. They're durable and they offer unbeatable deals at Donima Steel Complex Limited. Donima has available new brand of roofing sheets and nails. That is the NMK premium brand. Premium materials for less cost. That's what they are. NMK roofing sheets are available. The Aluzing and Governor sheets are available. The IBR Packer sheets are available. And of course, the Alu Premium long span roofing sheets are also available. When it comes to nails, that's for those of you who use nails. We have the NMK nails. It's available in all the popular sizes that you can think of or that you need. NMK quality shield you can trust. Locate Donima at Asafo Junction. They are near the Ghana Revenue Authority's office. And you can call them on 0244 126 625. 0244 126 625. You're fine gentlemen and ladies out there who receive you very well. Now, as you listen to us, it could also be that you've gotten to the roofing stage and you just want to get the trusses fixed for you, and you don't have the money available. What you can do is just go to them, sit down with them, talk to them. They have a payment plan available, so you can get the products, go install them whilst you get to enjoy paying in installments. All right, so go to Domino today, 0244 126 625. When we return from this very short break, we shall be talking about treatment, and we'll also be talking to our friends from the USA who are with us in the studios of Love 99.5. Stay with us.
Mami mmono adwuma wo da ya ye fe
Mira me da se na
Smiling again in no time. Auntie Mary's Baby Gripe Mixture from Ellie's Chemist, because everyone needs a chemist.
All right, so we're back, and we've got some 18 more minutes to wrap up our conversation. Now, we've talked about so many things. Dr. Mrs. Beatrice Wafiade is with us in the Studios of Love 99.5. She's talking about her concerns with women who are even educated. The fact that instead of going to the hospital, they rather go and see a pastor to do pray for me. And she says in her 30 years of practice, there's never been a situation where prayer has worked. We're not saying that God doesn't answer prayers. No, God answers prayers, but there are things that you don't have to go to church or the hospital, the pastor with it. You go to the hospital with it. She's also worried about the fact that some men also drive their women away from the home. They divorce them simply because they have breast cancer. But you've heard the story of Auntie Vivian, who told us that she's survived breast cancer for the past 16 years. She doesn't give one to the husband if he wants to, but gives the other. I mean, they're fine. They're enjoying their relationship, and that's Vivian there for you. But Amy and Greg are with us as well in the Studios of Love 99.5. Hi, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Yeah, are you enjoying the weather? It's quite hot these days in Canada. Are you enjoying the weather?
Actually, this is where I'm from in Arizona. This is actually quite right. This is about May time in Arizona where I grew up. So
it's kind of okay for you.
I feel at home.
I'm happy. I'm happy. So you don't have any challenges.
Yes.
But following our conversation, what inputs would you want to make on breast cancer? Its treatment, how we see it, things we do with it. You're a woman, so let me come to you, Amy. What do you make of what we've talked about so far?
It's fascinating because of the stigma that's still here. So in the USA, this was how it was maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago, where there's a stigma and you don't talk about it. And the difference now today, it's a conversation that happens all the time. And so the number of deaths has decreased because of that.
But we shouldn't be dying as a result of breast cancer, should we?
No, and that's part of it. It's being aware, taking action, and making it so that it is something that is talked about.
Now, what would you want to say to our women who are listening to you right now? Because to a very large extent, it is women who find themselves in this kind of quagmire situation. What would you want to say to women who are listening?
There's nothing wrong with you, and that there's nothing wrong with having breast cancer, and getting treatment and making sure you take care of yourself is the most important thing.
Greg, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, just to echo on what Amy said, in the United States, this is obviously a global problem, and cancer in general, there are two people. There are people who know someone who is affected by cancer, and there are people who will know someone who's affected by cancer. It strikes everyone and doesn't discriminate between good or bad, old or young, rich or poor, and hiding from it doesn't change that. I would also say that in the United States, also the religion and spiritual practices are very important to many people as well. They also know that they don't need to choose between one or the other, between medicine or their spiritual beliefs. And in fact, when they are combined, they're both more powerful. So they could see the doctor right away, and knowing that they're doing everything that they can makes their prayer more powerful, and then their prayers make the medical treatment they can get even more powerful because they have that hope.
So for you, they should combine both.
There's no need to choose.
There's no need to choose. But sincerely speaking, I heard Dr. Mrs. Beatrice Wafiade say a while ago that in all her practice, she's never seen anybody get cured of breast cancer by seeing a pastor. Sure. In the United States, I know that we watch a lot of television, see a lot of pastors who profess to have powers and healings and stuff like that. Are they able to cure people of breast cancer there?
Not that I've ever seen, Dr. Ruff. Better than me. But,
so why do you think we chase after them anyway? Why do we go to them anyway?
Perhaps it's all someone may know, right? It's the only option that they may see available to them that will work. But they don't have to give that up. They just need to see the doctor right away first, and then pray, and it makes that treatment more powerful.
Okay, you're a man like myself.
Yes,
and you've heard, that in Ghana, or for that matter in Africa, we are quick to push the women away to go, handle it by themselves alone. We divorce them and stuff like that. Does it happen in the States? And if it does or does not, what would you want to say to men in general?
I don't know that it happens in the States. I'm sure it has in rare instances, but it's not something that we hear about at all because, as men, our primary role is to serve our women and to care for them. And at the time that they need us most is when we most need to be there as a man. And as far as, if your woman was to lose part of a breast or one breast or even both, there's still the butt there, so there's still plenty to enjoy. More than enough.
I like that.
Greg, this is afternoon radio, so but thank you very much for sharing. Let's talk about treatments. Instead of we going to the churches to see the pastors and all that, what would you say treatment is like? What would you say the level of cure is like? Are we doing very well in terms of using medicines and other things?
Yeah, thank you, David. In fact, breast cancer is curable.
Not treatable, curable.
I'm coming.
Okay.
It's curable, it's survivable, it's one of the highly treatable diseases.
Oh, okay.
So women do not normally hear the positive side of breast cancer. We always hear the negative ones. And it's because a lot of people stay for too long before going to the hospital. But there are treatment modalities tried and tested. If the woman comes early, we go for surgery. We remove the part of the breast that has the disease and spare the breast for the woman. A lot of women in Africa do not want to lose their breast. We understand it. And that's why we also have to offer the most acceptable mode of treatment, which is the breast conserving surgery. But we can only do that when the women come early.
Okay.
Sometimes we have to remove the breast. But if we do it at the right time and give the right treatment, the woman can survive it for years. For years. Again, we have what we call chemotherapy. The disease does not normally stay in the breast alone, so it has the tendency of spreading, and that's why we also have to go to the blood to affect the cancer cells which are already going astray. We also have what we call radiotherapy. If we spare the breast for the woman, radiotherapy is a must. But if we remove the whole breast, then we have to look at the pathology report and decide whether the radiotherapy will be helpful or not. Whenever we are treating breast cancer, we have to find the type of breast cancer we are dealing with. Breast cancer is no more one disease. There are several subtypes, and so we check the sample to see whether the tumor is estrogen receptor positive, negative, or HER2 positive or negative. A lot of our women, in fact about 35%, have triple negative disease. It means they have estrogen receptor negative, progesterone is negative, HER2 is negative. Those diseases are kind of difficult to handle, and that's the more reason why we should go to the hospital early. All right, so I hope that we've given you the right information that's going to aid you as you move along in your life. But if there's any contribution or any question you have, let's hear from you. Give us a call on 03220-83596. Especially if you're a woman, what would you want to know? Is there any myth that you've been told of that you want clarity on? Give us a call now on 03220-83596. Now, if you're a man and your woman, has a challenge and you also want to know what you can also do to help, well, let's talk about it this afternoon together. Hi, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
I'm called Mohammed Mutala from Sunyani.
Mohammed Mutala from Sunyani. Are you listening to us on Power 99.7?
Yes, please.
Great, Mohammed. Let's hear you, Mohammed.
In as much as I have no comment to do, but it is a very educated program and an eye-opener. As time goes on, whenever we marry, those of us who are not even married, it is an eye-opener for us. We will be able to advise and correct the effects on our marriage. I'm
so happy to have heard from you, Mohammed. God bless you.
Greetings from the general manager of Parrot, Pauli.
Okay, Pauli, hi, Pauli. Good afternoon to you and all the guys in Sunyani. We're grateful for you guys listening to Love 99.5. Abraham, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I want to find out this. The topic you are discussing now about the breast cancer, I think it affects men as well.
Yeah.
So by what means will the men also know how they are affected or they even affected?
Well, thank you very much, Abraham. We're going to give you a response in a bit. Fatu is on the line. Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dave.
Yes, boss. Let's hear you.
How?
Ade.
Discussing this program. No, it's Fatu.
Fatu, go ahead.
Yes, it's wonderful you are discussing this program, this what's happening. And I would like to know if the treatment is on the National Health Insurance. That is the first thing. And then secondly, I want to know if there is a legislation in this country that bans like churches and herbal professionals from advertising on radio the treatment of this kind of diseases, especially breast cancer and then cervical cancer. Because what I have come to notice is that these people are using the adverts and then convincing people that they indeed do have the medications. Meanwhile, they are rather killing people. It's very, very pathetic. If there isn't any legislation, I think David should take this one up to the parliamentarians if they can do anything about it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Fatu. I appreciate the call. Especially why the ladies, when it comes to some of these things, I'm doing it not necessarily for the men. It's for consumption. But why are the ladies? You have the bigger boss, you have the bigger problem. Let's have you ask questions. Don't leave it to the men as always. Alright, so 03220-83596. I would love to hear from ladies as well on this issue of breast cancer. But you had let's start with the final caller, the last person who's called so far. Fatu, is it on the NHIS and whether there's legislation to ensure that churches do not put their noses where their noses don't belong, and these traditional, medicines and all that? We shall be talking shortly about that, Doc. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, David Akuetteh.
Christoph.
Yes?
Yeah, I know you're married, so welcome to the show, Christoph. Let's hear you.
Dave, is that... You said we have the studio over there?
Yeah, she's a lady with us in the studio. Is it Dr. Putiswiafiade?
She's a fine woman. I met her.
Leave the finance to me and go straight to your issue, please. Leave her finance for me. I'm the only one to talk about it. Go ahead, please.
My uncle is listening.
Okay.
David Nash. Whatever affects women affect us, And so if you are not coming, we have come to ask the questions for them. But I'm saying that whatever the woman is sharing, these are facts. And so we, those with our sisters, our wives and all that, let's help them. Let's encourage them to go for checkups if there are any medications and all that. Because an ounce of prevention is better than a dosing of cure. So thank you.
Okay, Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, is that Kalisha?
Yes, sir.
Let's hear you, Kalisha.
David, good show. My regards to Dr. Nafi. And tell her to tell, Richard Toko, our greetings to him. Maybe the question, my understanding from the conversation that you are having is that it's hereditary. Right. If it is so, then can a family who have such issue, vaccinate the rest of the children who are not having it or who are yet to grow? Can they vaccinate them in order to, to make sure they don't stand the risk of having it when they are growing?
Well, I hear you, because I know that vaccination helps when it comes to cervical cancer. I don't know about that when it comes to breast cancer. But so, Fatu's issue, Doc, NHIS legislation, please take that one for me.
Okay, so I just want to say that there are challenges with the NHIS. That's all I want to say.
Okay.
Now,
so it doesn't cover it?
It's supposed to cover.
But it does not?
I don't want to comment on this.
Okay.
So, as for having policies or legislation, I don't think they exist.
Okay.
And so that's why we are starting this forum on Friday. Okay. It's an open forum, so people should come, ask their questions, and let's all discuss it, openly. And try to direct our people to the right places. The pastor should help the women to direct them to the right places. Pray for them so that even if it's surgery we are doing, it becomes successful. If we are using the drugs, it should be successful, but not to keep them away from the hospitals.
So medicines?
That's also a huge problem. The FDA has come out to say that they haven't licensed any preparation in Ghana to be used as treatment for breast cancer, nor any of the cancers. But then we hear film, we see them on TV. So who is checking what?
But again, as I'm checking what, if we patronize it, we're giving the market. But if we are smart enough to say that we're not going to patronize their products, well, then we are going to be putting them out of business.
I think they are taking advantage of the ignorance of the people, the vulnerability of the people. They want to get some treatment, so no matter what, they are ready to go.
And when the expression says in anything is possible.
Yes.
Kalisha talks about vaccination. I know there's vaccination for cervical cancer. What about breast?
Breast cancer is not yet there.
Okay.
There are some researches going on. I know in John Hopkins they are trying some medications, but what happens is in the US, for example, people who have very positive family histories and have the BRCA1 and 2 genetic mutation, they opt for mastectomy. They go for the breast to be removed so that the breast will not be diseased. But in Ghana we haven't reached there. So what we advise people, especially those with positive family history, to go for regular checkups. They should check themselves. They should take advantage of clinical breast screenings that Breast Care International, for example, has been doing from church to church, from community to community, and get themselves checked. From age 40, we advise women to go for their baseline mammogram so that when there's something that even our hands will not be able to pick, the mammogram will show it.
So Friday is a big day where you have this beautiful forum, and you're saying that it's open to the public.
Yes,
and it's going to take place at the Kumasi Technical University.
Yes, they are grateful. And the MC there, in the way.
I'll be there. And you're saying that there's going to be a debate on all this religion and the treatment of cancer
in Africa.
In Africa and all that. We'll be there. I'm hoping that at the end of it all we would have learned a thing or two. This is my brother. His name is Delali Atiase. He's here to present sports. Now he knows that men can also get breast cancer. And so I'll be checking his listen to find out whether Delali, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I hope you're well.
I'm fine.
Okay, good to have you in the studio. So thank you very much, Dr. Beatrice. We have you there for a time.
Thank you
very much, and continue to survive, this breast cancer. Thank you very much, Greg, and of course you, Amy. Enjoy your stay. This has been The Diary on Love 99.5. Until tomorrow morning when I come up your way with Live in the Morning, keep listening to Love 99.5. The Lali is here with your sports on the drive time.